BlogTalk Radio.
This is the Wealthy Wednesday radio show with Luci McMonagle, helping you create a lifestyle and business that you love. Luci is an intuitive success coach who specializes in assisting and training for lifestyle and business success. As a member of your own university and an associate member of the Women's Speakers Association, she brings over 20 years of serial entrepreneurship, internet business training, and financial training to the table. Luci is on a mission to empower and inspire holistic entrepreneurs to become wealthier. Let's begin that journey together as we welcome the host of the Wealthy Wednesday radio show, Luci McMonagle.
Hello, and welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday radio show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and I am so grateful you're listening today. And I wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your schedule for this show. If you're on Facebook, we would love it if you would like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Wealthy Wednesday Radio. That's facebook.com, Wealthy Wednesday Radio. The Wealthy Wednesday Radio Show is for holistic entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, fempreneurs, and small business owners interested in increasing their knowledge, education, skills, and abilities to increase their wealth. It's our goal to inspire and empower you so that you can become wealthier. Today we have a phenomenal guest, and I am so incredibly honored that Rosie Aiello from ClearVista Consulting is going to be on the show today. She is an award-winning entrepreneur, best-selling author, speaker, and the founder of ClearVista Consulting International. She champions entrepreneurs and professionals to realize their dreams and vision with clarity and focus. She loves defeating productivity black holes and small business overwhelm, just like she loves her pasta. With her proven programs, Rosie empowers her clients to organize and value their time, resulting in higher profits, less stress, and more freedom to enjoy fulfilling lives. Let's give a warm welcome to Rosie. Hello, Rosie, are you on?
I am, Luci. Thank you so much for that wonderful welcome. I'm honored to be on this show.
So kindly, and you are such an expert on really helping people to acknowledge just how precious their time is and how to create such productivity. And you also have this incredible free gift that you're offering our audience called Get Organized. Could you tell us a little bit more about your free gift that you're offering people and how they can get that?
Yes, absolutely. It's called Get Organized, 7 Critical Steps for Small Business Success. And this is a little ebook, but, little things actually have big results. And it takes like 7 minutes to read it. So I even time it, how much you can read it. Maybe the fast readers will be less. But it takes just a few minutes to read it. And people have told me that they get more done in 1 week after reading this book than they have gotten done in the prior 6 months. These are short, powerful steps to take. And if you do those consistently, and that's the key word, consistently, you're going to see a dramatic improvement in your productivity. So it's that, and you can get it at my website, ClearVistaConsulting.com/gift.
Wow, that is amazing. I am definitely excited that you have such a wonderful gift for these people. Now, one of the sayings that you have is time is precious. Now, can you explain to the audience why do you say that?
It's I have lots of personal stories, and so it's sort of my mission. I feel like I just want to raise everyone's awareness of how, everyone knows about time, but they're not really focused on it. And I want to say, your time is precious. Your time here on earth is precious. So how are you going to use it? And if I can share a personal story, is that okay with you and your listeners? Okay. So for me personally, I've escaped twice in my life, and I will share one escape because I don't want to take the whole time on that. But I lived in the Middle East for almost 25 years, and I was married to a Lebanese man, and really from the very beginning of our marriage, I was subjected to emotional, verbal, psychological, and financial abuse. I say I had my own personalized terrorist camp, and it was very difficult. I mean, I ended up losing really who I was. I just became a shell of a person. And then a few years ago, my daughter, who at the time was a junior at the American University of Beirut, we were in Lebanon at that time, just said, "Mom, you've just got to get me away from my father. I can't take it anymore." So within 4 months, I planned the escape of our lives. I stealthily removed items for the house from shipment later, which is really just our clothes and just some basic stuff. I organized to meet with divorce attorneys upon my arrival in the United States. I scanned and photocopied critical documents. I made lists and lists of things I had to do, and of course I made details of the escape itself. I mean, I garnered every bit of time management that I could possibly do to plan this escape, which I have to say was successful because I've been in the United States and we have a wonderful life, and we're just so happy for that freedom. And I want that freedom is so important, and I can't say I lost 25 years of my life. Obviously, I had a lot of learning experiences, which I've went through, but how many times, do you as a business owner, or just even, just in your daily life, do you just make excuses for what things are and not taking the right steps? And my goal is to give everybody that time freedom, to make them realize how precious it really is and what decisions are you making. And everything is a choice. And you deserve to have a happy and joyful life.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. And actually, you sound really like a hero for your daughter and for yourself. And a lot of women have been in situations where they didn't feel like they had a choice for freedom. And you really help people understand that they do have a choice for freedom. And there are ways that you can create freedom for yourself. And you were also talking about, a lot of small businesses, they have a lot of difficulty for managing their time, and they also have a lot of difficulties with making the right choices. So can you tell us a little bit more on why do so many small business owners have difficulty managing their time, and how can that equate to personal freedoms that you've already taken the steps for?
The first thank you for that question. The first thing is I think a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, they don't have a vision and goals set. So they're just kind of going here and there. And I always start with that, because how can you get to where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go? And sometimes I kind of give the story of, let's say, I'm in San Francisco, California. So I'm on the West Coast. I mean, you're more on the West Coast as well. But just for assumption purposes, let's say, I wanted to drive from San Francisco let's say I want to drive from San Francisco to Phoenix, Arizona. Would I just hop in my car and just pray that I got there? Even if we have the GPS, you would still have to enter in the city, and you would have to plan for it, and you would have to know if you're driving there. Do I need to how long is the trip going to take? Do I need to stay at a hotel along the way, and which hotel? You would plan your trip because you wanted to get from point A to point B. Well, in your business is your livelihood. So doesn't it behoove you to do some planning? And the basic planning starts with having a vision and a goal. Because if you don't have those, it's like your barometer here. You don't know where you're going. So why do people have difficulty managing their time is that they're not focused on what their goals are. And then from the goals, that's then where we create the projects. And from the projects, that's where we create the daily tasks. And those daily tasks, as you can see, it's like it's getting smaller and smaller. The vision is the biggest, and then you have the goals, and then you have the projects, and then you have the individual tasks. And those individual tasks need to be as small as possible so you can really measure them and, check it off. I did that. So as an entrepreneur, they have so many things to do, right? You have your professional development, such as this call, right? You're getting trained. Your bookkeeping, your networking, your accounting, you're writing your email copy, making phone calls, talking to potential clients, networking, following up from networking. So it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do first? What do I do second? And then they just go into an instant state of overwhelm. And if they don't have their goals set, even to the extent of I'm attending this networking event, what is my intention for that event? What are my goals? What do I want to achieve at that event? And many people don't even think about that. They just start charging. And a lot of time is wasted on choices and activities that don't help fulfill their goals. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense. And when I first started my business many years ago, I was a charger. I would just go out and I would just do all this, but it left you tired and in overwhelm. And, it wasn't until that I actually started prioritizing and sitting back and saying, okay, is this in alignment with my overall goal? And if it's not, then do I want to take my time and do it? And
exactly.
And it's hard. It's really hard to be on the no train because you have so many juicy offers and so many choices as an entrepreneur. But, you have to stay true to yourself. And so one of the things that I would like your expertise advice on is what happens when our audience or one of our entrepreneurs who are listening, when they do become overwhelmed. What would be a quick, if there isn't a quick step that they could do?
Well, it's interesting because when you're in that overwhelmed state, you're kind of like almost in a panic state, and you're really stressed, and sometimes you get stuck, and it's like these things are hitting you, and things are coming fast, too fast for you to manage. And then the best thing to do is maybe counterintuitive, but I'm sure you'll understand, is that the best thing is to stop. Stop, take a few deep breaths, and just relax for a moment. If you can even meditate, that would be better. But the best thing is just to stop, breathe deeply, I would say at least 4 times, to help clear your head. And when you do that, it will clear your head, because you can't be productive. You can't think straightly when you're stressed. And when you're overwhelmed, you're going to be in a stressed state. You can't think about your priorities. So when you stop and reflect for a moment, that gives you the power really to reflect on what's important, what's my priority, what do I really have to do, what's the highest and best value of my time, as opposed to just keep charging, thinking you're doing it right. When you relax, you think better. When you relax and reduce that stress, you make better decisions. When you are in that overwhelmed/stress state, you're more prone to errors. You're more prone to making wrong decisions. So it's critical you just stop yourself and think, okay, things are going crazy now. Everyone is, emails are coming at me and my phone is ringing, but I'm going to stop because I can't make my decisions right now. I have to clear my mind. It works all the time.
Oh, and it does. It does. It really works. And that's one of the things that a lot of the I would say, I don't want to say smart entrepreneurs, but more educated entrepreneurs, I guess, is we take a few moments. We do step back and breathe, and sometimes, for me, if I'm in the midst of something, I'll actually take maybe a half an hour and just go walk, sit on my patio, pick some grapefruit from my front yard, or I just do something that is not business related, and then all of a sudden I have the answer, and then everything just falls into place. So that is incredible advice, and I'm vouching that it does work, definitely. So I'm going to ask one more quick question, and then we're going to take a commercial break.
Okay.
I wanted to know, why is it important to identify how we spend our time?
This is a good question, because I think a lot of people just, charge for the day, not fully conscious of how they're spending their time. And it's kind of like, how can you clean your house if you don't see the dirt? If you don't see the dirt, you're not going to be able to clean it. The same thing here with managing your time properly. If you don't see how you are using your time, we can't fix it. And I say, everyone has these little time leaks. So if you can't identify where you're leaking time or mismanaging your time, and not necessarily purposefully so, you just aren't aware of it. But awareness is key. And when you have awareness, then we can take the steps to fix it. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. And a lot of times people they'll go through kind of like a trance mode. Like sometimes when you go to drive to the store, you're at the store and you don't even remember how you got there. That's a time leak, not being conscious. And that's a little more of a drastic example that I use. But it's true. A lot of us, we don't pay attention to our surroundings. We're not paying attention to what we're doing, and we just slip. And all of a sudden, the day's gone. It's like, oh my gosh, it's time for bed, and you feel like you didn't get anything done. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. So it is very important that we identify how to spend our time.
I wanted to, if I could just slip in here, just a really quick statement, is that productivity is not about doing and being busy. Productivity is about doing the right things in the most effective manner. Productivity is about doing the right things in the most effective manner.
Definitely. Well, we're definitely going to pick that up as soon as we get back from our commercial break. So hold on for a moment, and we'll be right back to honor our sponsors.
Be you to the fullest. That's beautiful. And it is the secret to living your life on purpose. But so many people suffer, not knowing who they are and what they are here for, because of the ongoing influences shoulding all over us. Are you ready to break free, take back your power, and discover exactly what makes you, you? Your Own University is the #1 online self-awareness community, here to help you confidently know yourself and step into your ideal life. Our directory is full of highly qualified personal coaches that have helped over 100,000 women from all over the world transform their lives inside and out. Come fall in love with yourself and discover true fulfillment at yourownuniversity.com.
The It's Your Turn radio show with Denise Dominguez is on every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Join Denise Dominguez, an empowerment and relationship coach, as she invites experts on for interviews and how they help women with their knowledge and expertise to break through that stuck space you're in. You'll learn tools and techniques to move forward in life with confidence and clarity that Denise will share with you. Listen every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern by going to blogtalkradio.com/yourownuniversityradio.com. The It's Your Turn radio show with Denise Dominguez.
From the best-selling author of From Bondage to Happiness, Antika Lisha will personally walk you through her new program featuring her Radical Forgiveness Freedom Formula. This is for you if you are ready to once and for all be released from the chains of past abuse and take your power back. Radical Forgiveness is a 5-week step-by-step system to release the chains of a traumatic past, trapping in fear, reactivity, and stress, and gently free you, allowing you to take your power back and claim your beautiful life. Get instant access to your first video and a free 60-minute discovery session with Antika herself, a $250 value, at antikalibby.com/radicalforgiveness.
Welcome back to the Wealthy Wednesday radio show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and I have an incredible lady with us, Rosie Aiello, and she is from ClearVista International. Her website is ClearVistaConsulting.com. That's ClearVista Consulting.com. And right before the commercial break, she was specifying that productivity is doing the right thing at the right time. Welcome back, Rosie.
Thank you.
And I wanted to continue a little bit more about, you were specifying doing the productivity, but doing the right thing at the right time. Can you explain that just a little bit more to our audience?
Sure, absolutely. It's really easy. Don't you find it's really easy to be busy during the day? But again, it gets back to this first statement that I made about knowing your goals. And if your activity that you're doing is not focused on achieving your goal, then first of all, it's the wrong activity. Then that's the first part, right? So it has to fulfill your goal. Then the second part is doing it in the most effective way. And how many times, and I say this all the time when I'm talking, I'll ask, how many of you, flip from, email to Facebook to a phone call to a text message to, one thing after the other, and you're totally unfocused. And it will end up taking you more time to accomplish that goal. So that is not a very effective way to get that goal accomplished. So when you start something, that means you're going to devote your 100% attention to it until it's complete, until the task is complete. And if you recall, I mentioned about having the task as small as possible so you can measure it and check it off. Sometimes people have a tendency to put on a project, or it's too big, and then they get frustrated because they didn't complete it. And usually it's because it's too big. So it's focus the time, and there's lots of strategies, which maybe we'll probably go over later. But get focused on that one activity that's fulfilling your goal, and do it until it's complete without anything else in between. Easier said than done.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So is that one of the many ways that we can prevent our time from being snapped from us? I'm
sorry, I didn't quite catch the question.
I said, is when you focus on one task at a time where you can check it off, is that one of the many ways that we can prevent our time from being zapped from us?
Yes, exactly. And it's, there are a number of ways, but one is, again, getting that awareness up. 2 is knowing your goals. 3 is knowing, having their tasks written down and then checking them off one by one, focusing on them, doing them to their complete, and then going to the next one. Other ways, the time can get zapped is having these interruptions that we allow into our day. And we think, oh, well, the phone is ringing. I have to answer it. I received a text message. I have to answer it now. We're in the data age, right? So the data keeps flowing at us like I don't know, Niagara Falls is flowing. It's coming at us very, very quickly. And so we've gotten into this knee-jerk response, this reactive response that, oh, I have to answer it right away. No, you don't. Remember, it's important that you are in control, that you consciously make decisions on how you use your time. And this is something, I have these mantras all over the place, and I want to share this one with your listeners because it's super critical. And I'm going to say it a couple of times so they can write it down. And that is, I intentionally choose how I use my time. I intentionally choose how I use my time. And I teach that to everybody, and that one sentence alone can increase your productivity because it puts the power back in you. You talked about, empowering women, and this is a way to get empowered. It's like, yes, I can choose. I can choose to answer that phone call now, and I can choose not to answer that phone call now because maybe I'm working on client work or something that's important to me. I can call back later. I can decide, yes, I want to answer that call because we've been playing phone tag and I'm making a conscious decision. As long as your decision is conscious, you're aware of how you're using your time. Remember we were talking earlier about you can't clean the dirt, unless you know where it is. So if you're making a conscious decision while you're answering that phone, not because it's ringing that you're answering it, but you know why you're answering it. And these are, I teach, about making quick assessments to whether you should answer the phone call, which we don't really have time to go into today. But, answer that phone call because you know you want to answer the phone call. Being that conscious is so critical.
That's really, really important, is to be conscious and to be able to know exactly why, are you answering the call now? Because, like you said, are you playing phone tag, or do you need to answer this call because it's important, or can you get back to that person? And you mentioned that we're also in the data age, and there's so much temptation with the Internet, with all of the information coming to us. What tips would you have to give us to regain back our control from the Internet, from the telephone, from the, all of the distractions that we choose to allow in our life?
Okay, I'm going to share something with you, and this is what I did. And I trained myself, and I really like to say that, I practice what I teach, and I practice it because I have to practice. This is not something that you can just learn once and then it's done. You have to be extremely active and conscious of everything. So I do these things. So when I first came back to the United States, of course, everything was new. The internet overseas where I lived was so slow, I could practically clean my whole bedroom, before the internet would come up. So here it's just, it's coming really quickly. So it's like, wow, I get on the internet and there will be all these exciting articles. I would maybe start a research, and then there would be another, the journalists know how to write hot copy, hot headlines, and it's like I can just feel my fingers just ready to hit the enter. And it's like, then I hit the enter button, and I'm now into the internet black hole, as I call it. And then as, my business was starting to grow, I was thinking, whoa, what's going on here? So I developed this thing, and I asked myself, am I using my time right now, my goal-achieving activities? So am I using my time to achieve my goals right now? And I used that question. It was like a little, like somebody, you're a little conscious on your shoulder, and it's like talking to you in your ear. Okay, Rosie, are you working on your goals right now? Oh, I guess not. Okay, well, then shut me down. And I trained myself, and I am really good now at not staying on the internet. Do I get tempted? Of course. But then I've trained myself by constantly asking myself that question, that mantra: am I working right now on achieving my goals?
Wow. Now that's a good question to ask yourself. And for me, what I like to do is I'll actually set aside fun time for my internet, and that's where I'll just get the articles or check out miscellaneous information, or look up something online or whatever. It's just like I kind of batch it, and but I give myself a time limit, so otherwise,
right?
I could be on the internet day in and day out and not get any work done. So asking myself outside of those times this question is really going to be helpful, and I'm sure it's going to be helpful to a lot of our audiences if we just take just the mantra that you said. I intentionally choose how I use my time, and asking yourself, am I using my time to reach my goals is really important.
And I'll just add another little tip, which you kind of inferred as well, is that is setting the timer. Set the timer for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I use the timer a lot throughout the day. I don't necessarily use it all the day. It depends, but that's also a really, really good tip. And there are other applications that you can get that actually control your use of the internet. If you have really, you have more difficulty, you can get applications that will monitor it and sometimes will shut it down for you.
That's a good idea. Hopefully they have the applications on the smartphones now, because it's so easy to be off the computer, but then you have the internet on your phone these days.
Right.
And, that can really suck up a lot of time if you're not careful.
It can.
Yeah. Now we've discussed the data information age and everything, and a lot of people, they used to be talking about going paperless. But we still have a ton of paper. What can I do, or what can our audience do in regards to this?
Well, as with anything, you need to create a system to manage. To manage the paper, and there's a process of understanding. Do I need to keep the paper? Can I get it elsewhere? And if not, to create a system. And putting a paper in a file folder and putting it in your filing cabinet is not a system. That's not enough. And what's really important to understand is that why do you file? You don't file to put away. You file to retrieve. And this goes both whether it's electronic or paper. And that should be the first premise. It's like, how can I get this document back when I want to get it back? And the better you create your filing system, the quicker you can get it on. So whether it's paper, whether it's digital, you should be able, if it's paper, you should be able to pull that file folder within seconds. And the same thing if it's digital, with 1 or 2, 3 clicks, whatever it takes. But going paperless, but we still got a ton of paper to still handle. Sometimes you need to create a proper system, and that's labeling it properly, knowing, putting it in the right place. I had a client who, just to give you kind of just a simple idea, and when I worked, this is with a private client. So he had all of his files, in two lateral filing cabinets, and we looked physically where his desk was, where his chair was, how he turned, and I asked him, well, where are the files that you touch or you want to have access to most often? So those files were actually in the bottom drawer behind him. And we moved those files to the other file cabinet on top. So it was just one easy turn for him to have easy access with his fingers. I mean, that may not seem like a big thing, but it was huge because it was made his access to his filing system much faster. Of course, we organized it as well, but faster, more logical. So when you're creating a filing system, think about where you are in relationship to the file as well. You can also put their standing files, so like if you have some active files, you don't need to put them in the filing cabinet. Just keep them readily available for you in a standing file on your desk or maybe on a table. I don't know your situation, but on your desk or maybe a credenza behind you. So you don't have to take time to get up and go to your filing cabinet and look for it. Again, we have these, what I call these time leaks, as I mentioned before, and it's a little minute here and a little bit there. So if that will save you time, that's fantastic. And one other final thing I want to talk about regarding paper filing is just think about this. If the paper, or papers are laying flat, they're horizontal, right? They're laying flat, they're horizontal, they're hidden, so you can't really see because they're all stacked on top of each other. If they are vertical or standing, they can be viewed easily. So we have horizontal is hidden, vertical is viewed. So that's kind of another easy way to kind of remember when you're creating the quick systems. I hope that was helpful.
Oh no, that makes perfect sense, and I do understand exactly what you're saying on having your paper filing system close enough where, for me, I could reach my hand over from my desk, open up my drawer, and just grab what I need practically without even looking at the paperwork, because I have it in an order that I know exactly, like how many tabs is this one or how many tabs is this one. And that really saves a lot of time and frustration, because before I used to have the other system where it was just laying flat on a tray, and so I'd have to go through the stack of these papers just to get the one that I needed. And when I switched over to this other system, it really made my life a lot easier, a lot less stress for me. Exactly.
And sometimes I think entrepreneurs is like, I don't have time to set up these systems. I don't have time to do this. But this is an investment in your business and in your time, so that it will save you hours, and I mean hours later on.
Exactly. It does save you hours later on. So we're going to take a real quick commercial break, and then we will be right back.
I felt out of control. I hated the fact that when my husband would kiss me, my body would shudder. I'd feel so guilty and wanted to run away. I knew it wasn't my husband's fault or even my own, but the pain of my childhood abuse was still controlling my life. Until I found Antica and the Divine in 9 program. Now, I am free. The flashbacks are gone. They have vanished. My marriage is so much more fun, and I know the brighter side of life. I never thought I could feel this good about being me. If you are a woman like me who survived abuse and you're ready to stop fighting and start living, don't wait any longer. Register right now at www.divineinline.com.
Experiencing a financial glass ceiling? Luci McMonagle is a money manifestor coach, and it's her passion to educate others how to manifest more money. Grab her free gift, Make Money Now, at LuciMcMonagle.com. That's LuciMcMonagle.com.
The Wealthy Wednesday radio show is on every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join me, Luci McMonagle, an abundance breakthrough coach, author, and public speaker, as your host, as I interview expert guests that will inspire and empower you. Listen every Wednesday or catch the archived shows by going to BlogTalk Radio /Ambitious Women Unite Radio. That's blogtalkradio.com /Ambitious Women Unite Radio. Join me, your host, Luci McMonagle, for the Wealthy Wednesday radio show every Wednesday. Welcome back to the Wealthy Wednesday radio show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle. I am so grateful that you are here today, and we have an incredible guest. Her name is Rosie Aiello, and she is from ClearVistaConsulting.com, and she also has an incredible free gift. Get organized at ClearVistaConsulting.com /gift. Welcome back, Rosie.
Thank you so much, Luci. Thank you. This has been incredibly fun.
Yes, I've been taking a whole bunch of notes, so hopefully you're not hearing me write too terribly much on the radio.
No.
This has been fabulous. Now, right before the commercial break, we were talking about people organizing a paper system, but I also wanted to know, do people need to maintain a filing system on their computer too?
They definitely do, because, again, just putting things, on your the desktop, for example, I see a lot of people do that. First of all, that slows down your computer, and secondly, how can you find things? So, if you have a paper filing system and you have similar things on digitally, they should be matched. But lots of people say, "Oh, I don't need a filing system on my computer. I can just do a search." Well, I know a lot of people propose that. I am not a proponent of that. I have done lots of testing on that personally, and I compare when I have to do a search and when I have it filed properly. And without exception, when I have it filed properly, I get it within a couple clicks. When I have to search, I have to wait for it to come up. It's building up, especially, and then you have to know how to do a really accurate search, so you have to know how to search, and then I have to scan through the whole long list of things that have popped up, and then open that and say, oh no, that's not the one, and oh that's not the one. So you waste a lot of time. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but it's not the most effective manner. Now, if you're looking for a document, you want to at least, let's say, gosh, I know it's in this file folder, but I've got so many things in here I can't see it. But now you've narrowed it down, and it won't take you very long. But if you're just no filing system, it's just all these documents, it will take you forever, and it'll be extremely, extremely frustrating. You should be able to get to your documents within clicks. And if you're not, then you need to create a system, because you'll be wasting your time on unimportant things. Remember, your time, you want to create the system so that you can spend your time on the highest value of your time, and that is income-producing activities.
Wow. Yeah, and that would save a lot of time, and I have had a lot of frustration when I couldn't remember the name of a document, so I could have to pick in some key words, and I was like, oh, where did I put that? And then, sometimes it was on the external hard drive and then the internal. So I'd have to do some searches on this drive or that drive, and it does. It's very frustrating for not having a filing system on your computer or not having a filing system with your paper.
Right.
So, that can be frustrating. So if people wanted to connect with you through a social network outside of your website, they can connect with you through Twitter and Facebook?
Yes. I'm on. I have a business page, and a fan page and a personal page on Facebook. I would love to connect with everybody. I have a Twitter account. I'm on LinkedIn. It's Rosie Aiello. My Facebook, it's facebook.com/ClearVista Consulting. On Twitter, it's Rosie ClearVista. And I would just love to, I send out as well a 1-minute productivity tip every single week. And it normally goes out at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday. So it went out this morning. And it's an exception when it doesn't. But I keep it short and to the point. And I would just love for you and your readers to be able to take advantage of that information, because it's very powerful. I have people tell me all the time, that we get so many emails, but they say, I read yours, Rosie, because you give so much value and it's easy and short to read.
Oh, that's really a great idea. So if somebody signed up for their free gift, which is Get Organized, would they also be listed on your Wednesday 1-minute tip?
Yes, they would. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yes, so you'll get that double bonus there.
Oh, that's really a good bonus. And that the website is ClearVista Consulting, consulting.com /gift to receive the gift and to receive the mailing list. And then if they wanted to connect with you on LinkedIn, to do a search, your name is Rosie, and then the last name is Aiello. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's right.
So make sure that people can, hopefully they will connect with you on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. And then I wanted to ask you a few more questions because this is so exciting for having you on here. Now, aside from the quick minute tips that you give on Wednesdays, how else can people manage their time better and get back in control of their day?
I want to share something. I want to make sure I share this with your listeners, so they can get a good perspective. Remember, I've mentioned a little bit, what I call the time leaks, or how you mismanage your time. And I call them time leaks because sometimes, it's just so easy to kind of forget how things are happening during the day. Again, creating that awareness. But let's just take the paper example. And let's just assume, because there's been studies done on this. There's a study done by Brother. I'm going to give a couple examples here. So let's say it takes 9 minutes a day. You're wasting 9 minutes a day looking for a paper file, which is easy to do, right? And it may not be 9 minutes every day, but it might be a half an hour, a couple times a week. So 9 minutes a day. Just think about this, and we can round it to 10. So 10 minutes a day adds up to almost an hour a week. Okay, an hour a week adds up to about 40 hours in a work year, 40 hours a year. At $100 an hour, I'm going to assume that your listeners are charging at least $100 an hour. It's easy for the math. That's $4,000 of your time that has gone down the drain. 10 minutes a day adds up to $4,000 over the course of a year. That's how these little time links, these little drops that you're because you're not aware of how you're using your time, manifests. And this is real money because you have value. And these are decisions that you made. If you had a better system for filing your paper, instead of spending 10 minutes, you would have spent a couple of seconds. And then that time, those 40 hours over the course of the year, instead of it going down the drain, you could have been using that for an income-producing activity. You could have been making potential client calls. You could have been doing discovery sessions. You could have been writing email copy. You could have been writing or updating your website. There's a number of more highly important activities you could have been doing with that time. And that is only 10 minutes a day.
Wow.
I'm going to give it's a lot, right?
That is. And when you think about it, and that's just one example. So if you have 10 minutes a day on just looking for papers, but then you're spending another 5 or 6 minutes a day, trying to figure out what you did with that or what you did with this, or you're switching from one activity to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. I mean, that's
right.
Far more than $4,000 a year. I mean, that it starts becoming a sizable amount of time that you're wasting that could be used for reaching your goal.
Exactly. That is exactly it, Lucy. And this is what just, kind of just breaks my heart. And it's like, and these are the time management is not just a business skill, it's a life skill as well. And you can't reach your goals. You can have the best marketing plan in the world, but if you're not if you're wasting your time and doing other unimportant things and you can't execute it, what's the good of your marketing plan? And, I want to share, if we have time, another example. This was a study done by Dr. Marks in UC Irvine a few years ago. And her study showed that when you are distracted or interrupted, it takes you about 24 minutes to get back on task. Because, you've been interrupted, so now you're going to do something else, maybe get a drink of water, and then you get back and you sit down at your desk. She did not take Dr. Gloria Marks, she did not take into account the loss of the flow. When you're in the flow and you're writing, you're really in the zone, and now you've been interrupted by that phone call. Remember, we were talking about the phone call earlier. And this is why it's so critical to assess. So when you answer that phone call, I want everyone to pay attention here. When you answer that phone call, before you answer the phone call, I want you to think, where are you in your work? Because is this a phone call you can answer later? Because there's going to be a cost to you answering that phone call. It could be the cost of you finishing up client work. It could be the cost of you not getting out of that flow, and now you have to. It's going to take you twice as long to get back into it. It could be the cost of now. Oh my gosh, I had this great idea for this marketing. These marketing words for my website, and now I've lost it, and maybe you'll never get it back, and maybe you will. So there's a cost for doing things unconsciously. So to get back into control is really about being much more aware of the time you're using, the impact, making conscious decisions of how you're using your time, creating that awareness, and knowing that when you are getting in that overwhelmed state, because you're not making conscious decisions or stopping to get back into control, is that you have that frustration, you have that anxiety, maybe you're not sleeping, and your profits are going down the drain. Lots of repercussions of not properly managing your time throughout the day.
That is so true. That's so very, very true. So we have just a little bit over 5 minutes left for the show, And, a lot of people say, oh, well, if only I had more hours in the day. Like let's say we had 30 hours in the day instead of 24. Would that solve us getting things done on time?
I think a lot of people, thank you for that question, because it's like, yes, if I just had more time, right? Well, I always tell people, if I learn how to slow down the rotation of the earth, I'll let everybody know, but I haven't figured that out. But it's like, you probably can relate to the bigger the house, the more you're going to just fill it with stuff, right? It just happens. The same thing, you have more time in the day, you're just going to fill it. And this is I'm going to share a really awesome trick. I want you to challenge yourself. Let's say you're going to be working on something. Let's say it's just some marketing copy, for example. And I want you to set your timer. And I want you to estimate, I think it's going to take me half an hour. That's what you're going to think. Okay, it's going to take me half an hour. I don't want you to put 30 minutes on your timer. I want you to put 20 minutes, and I want you to challenge yourself. You're going to be hyper-focused. You're going to get hyper-focused because that clock is running. It's like, you know what? I'm going to finish this thing in 20 minutes. And when you challenge yourself to do that, you will actually work faster. If you think about, I used to do swimming. So like Olympic swimmers, what are the coaches always doing? Faster and faster. You have to get the stroke down. But when you are challenged to go faster, you will go faster. But we don't challenge ourselves. We just think we have all the time in the world. We don't. And I hope they've learned this after this call. And this is a great tip. Make an estimate on the time and then cut it down. And get hyper-focused and work on it until that bell rings. You'll get more done in less time and make more money.
Oh, that's definitely a really being hyper-focused on and setting a timer so that you can get something done. That does make a difference. For me, I have to put the timer like on the table where I can't look at it because otherwise I'm keep looking at the timer. I don't know if that's for something for anybody else, but for me, that's one thing that I focus on, and I'll put my phone in the other room turned off when I'm looking at TV or something because, if I have the phone near me, I always have that temptation to, if I just look at it to see if there's a text.
Exactly. So now you won't, Lucy. You have those little mantras to ask yourself.
Right. Yeah, I love these mantras that you gave us. And just real quick, just in case somebody just came on to the radio show, what is your favorite mantra and your favorite saying?
My favorite mantra, my favorite what?
Your favorite saying on I am using my time to reach my goal.
Right. So, I intentionally choose how I use my time. I intentionally choose how I use my time. How empowering is that? It's just awesome. And then when you're tempted and on the internet or something, am I using my time right now for my goal achieving activities? Am I using my time right now for my goal achieving activities?
Oh, now that's fabulous. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I definitely personally will be using these mantras. And I just wanted to remind our guests, if they wanted to get a hold of you or to get a hold of your free gift, which is Get Organized, 7 Critical Steps, they can go to your website at ClearVistaConsulting.com/gift. And your website is ClearVistaConsulting.com. Is that correct?
Right. And make sure you put Lucy's name in there so I can thank Lucy. And I would love to know who Lucy's listeners are and connect with you.
Fabulous. I really, really appreciate you being on the Wealthy Wednesday radio show. We just got our call to wrap it up now, and this will be available for replay for anybody who wants to re-listen to this over and over again. So is there anything else you want to say in about 10 seconds to our audience before we sign off?
Well, my final mantra is your time is precious, so use it wisely.
Your time
into your time freedom.
Oh, fabulous. All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Wealthy Wednesday radio show. It's been a pleasure, and I'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Wealthy Wednesday radio show with Luci McMonagle every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join us next time for more in the way of expert interviews with excellent guests and entrepreneurship and business tips that'll help you better your personal and business life. For excellent resources and to personally contact Luci McMonagle, visit LuciMcMonagle.com. Until next time, so long, everybody.